This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hey guys, Jay here. Welcome to Models Memories Weekly, episode 177. Models Memories is a show about nothing and is filmed in front of a live studio audience. This is a show where I talk about my painting, modeling, and working experiences from the week. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 YouTube videos a week. How? Could I possibly have more to say? Well, I do, and here goes. This week, Games Workshop came out with some less interesting Blood Angels characters that I like a whole lot more. And we have some new updates for the most interesting codex in the release of 10th edition. But first, did you know that most websites are square? And if you need a square website of your own, you can go with today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace allows anyone to break into website design with easy-to-use features like the new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint. Choose from a professionally curated selection of styling options to build a unique online presence from the ground up. Squarespace makes it easy to launch your website and get discovered fast with integrated optimized SEO tools so you can show up more often to more people and grow the way you want. Or your own online storefront. Whether your services are physical, digital, or service-based, selling your wares has never been easier with Squarespace's seamless checkout tools. With the Squarespace website, your customers can use whatever payment system they prefer, whether it's credit cards, PayPal, Apple Pay, Afterpay, or ClearPay. Selling your unique wares has never been easier. Squarespace offers a free trial for you to dip your feet into and test the waters, and ready to dive in head first, you can go to squarespace.com/EonsOfBattle or follow the link in the description to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Last week, Games Workshop showed off Asterath and Lamartes for the Blood Angels, and they were both they were both really good, but also had like some subtle flaws. They didn't feel like the epic champions that they were meant to. This week, they showed off 2 more characters for the Blood Angels who were both more standard issue generic characters, and I kinda like them a lot more. Both of these models are things that just should exist for the Blood Angels: a dedicated Blood Angels generic captain and a sanguinary priest. A sanguinary priest is kind of a special little apothecary for only the Blood Angels, and I really like apothecaries. I wish that they've ever been good. They've always. Right now in game, there are 50 points for their ability is if a Space Marine dies, then in your next command phase, you can bring 1 Space Marine back to life. It's an okay ability. Apothecaries have been up and down in the history of Warhammer 40,000. When you used to be able to attach them to a Centurion squad, holy cow, were they worth their weight in gold. Getting an entire Centurion warsuit brought back to life was incredible. But right now they can really only attach to normal, like Mark 10 Tacticus Space Marine units. So best case scenario, you attach them to like a Hellblaster squad or maybe a Sternguard veteran squad, and you can bring back, for the low cost of 50 points, you can bring back an 18 or 23 point model, and only in your command phase, so it doesn't even matter for certain missions where you calculate points before the model has come back to life. And usually, if you lose some Space Marines, you probably lost a lot of Space Marines, so it's not like you took a pounding and 1 valiant Space Marine died, but he gets to come back to life. It's usually like you lost 4, and then 1 comes back to life, so you lost 3, and you're still losing objective control, and you don't really have a functioning squad to do anything with on the tabletop. And it's 50 points. I think the rule isn't quite there yet, but the Sanguinary Priest is he's an apothecary. He's essentially the exact same unit, completely different abilities. He grants the squad a lovely 5-up Feel No Pain. Oh, I love Feel No Pain so much. And a 5-up Feel No Pain is lovely. He's quite a bit more points. He is 90 points instead of 50, which is a lot of points, but that's a really, really good ability. And I think really though, the reason that he is 90 points instead of 50 is his second ability is he also grants the squad +1 AP, which is amazing on the types of squads that he's going to attach to, because he can also only attach to like Mark 10 Tacticus armor or Death Company, but +1 AP on like Power Fist, even Chain Swords. Chain Swords AP1 to AP2 is a humongous bump. Like, he's just a super great, like, just injection of power to a ton of Space Marine units. I really like the Blood Angels right now. It'll be interesting to see when their codex comes out, because right now their detachment, Sons of Sanguinius, is really good. +2 strength and +1 attack on the charge for melee weapons of like all units who charged does a really good job of recontextualizing every single index in the codex. So it'll be interesting to see if that sticks around or if it's going to change based on some of the new detachments. But yeah, the new Sanguinary Priest and the model is lovely. It is essentially a plain apothecary, and I actually really like this for a bunch of reasons. Does he seem super Blood Angel-y? I don't know, he's got blood vials, which in addition to being Blood Angel-y, it also just fits really nicely with an apothecary. Like if he needs to give somebody an emergency blood transfusion, he can just pop one of those vials and do what he needs to do. But I kind of like that he's so normal, because this essentially makes him into, if any Space Marine army wants to take 2 apothecaries, they don't have to have the same one guy standing on a dead Space Marine looking at I guess it's supposed to be Gene Seed, but it doesn't really look like anything, so he's just kind of got something he's looking at in his hand. Maybe it's a cool rock, maybe it's something he found. But I love that model. I painted it. I really, really like that model, but it's gonna be hard to add a second apothecary to your army because it's just gonna be the exact same guy in the exact same pose. If you were to get the Blood Angel guy and you just sandpaper off the little blood chalice on his leg, he's now a perfectly normal looking apothecary, and I think that adds a lot of utility to this model. And if you're a Blood Angels player and you want to have a couple of Sanguinary Priests in your army, you can go with one of these guys and one of the old one. They'll look great together and your army will be like that much more, it'll just look that much better. I really like the model. And the Apothecary Sergeant, I could see this model turning into a little bit of a meme because he does look silly. I like the silly. It reminds me so much of the old 2nd edition Blood Angels Captain, like the really old made of lead one, like with the sculpted chest and just more like crotch accessories than you can shake a stick at, or I guess he's not shaking a stick at, but I really like this guy. I think he's super fun. The only thing I would say this model is missing is nipples. If you have the sculpted chest armor, you really should have the nipples, but nipples are easy enough to add. I think this guy looks great. I think my brain goes back to early 8th edition with the launch of the Primary Space Marines, and that original Blood Angels Captain model was just normal armor, no accessories, no nothing. The only thing that made him slightly Blood Angels-y is he had the smallest dick tabard of any model they've ever sculpted for Space Marines. Meanwhile, this guy is glorious. Though he could almost fly with the wing decoration on his shoulder pad. It's so big, it's so much, but I think it works so well for the Blood Angels. I really like both of these guys, and I'm excited to see what people do with them. I think they're both great choices for the Blood Angels. I am really excited for the Blood Angels releases. I played against Blood Angels in a tournament not too long ago, and it was really, really fun. It was really exciting, almost exciting, as EonsOfBattle.com. Yes, we now have our own website, EonsOfBattle.com, and on that website, we have some new merch. We've got Eons of Battle dice, 12 dice per bag in a little cloth baggie. We've got the J orange dice and the Nick blue dice. I have been rolling with these suckers for a couple of months now, and I must say, through rigorous scientific study, the J dice do tend to roll just a little bit better. Don't tell Nick, but it's true. In addition to the Nick J dice, on our website, you'll find t-shirts and sweatshirts, and we're going to be doing 10% off for the next 2 weeks. If you use the code MMW10, Models and Memories Weekly, you can get 10% off. And that's not all that's on our website. You can also, on our website, get a membership. It is the very best way to support us. And in addition, you will receive 1 terrain credit that can be used to get the fancy terrain that we came up with this month, or any previous terrain pack we have ever created. And what terrain have we created, I hear you ask? Well, this month we have the Clone Expansion, a part 2 to our spaceship interior with new wall sections for building out the grisly facilities of a cloning laboratory, complete with examination/autopsy tables, cloning bays, and new doors. And the cloning doesn't stop there. The cloning towers are macabre monoliths drooping with pods full of fresh recruits or test subjects, depending on the needs of the mad scientists who operate them. We still have a Patreon and a My Mini Factory Tribes, but EonsOfBattle.com is the best value and the best place to be if you want to support us doing what we do. And speaking of doing, Games Workshop be doing more combat patrols. They revealed the new combat patrol for Imperial agents, and holy cow is that a lot of space cops. It is 2 boxes of 10 space cops, 1 inquisitorial henchman box, the Eversor Assassin, and Pious Vorn, the priest with the giant chainsaw. It's an interesting box for sure. The Exaction Squad, it comes in two flavors. There's Exaction Squad and then there's Subductor Squad, and they're both pretty darn good. They're actually weirdly good. They're kind of just normal people. I mean, they're space cops. But the Exaction Squad has a 4-up save and a 5-up Feel No Pain, which is very good. I love a Feel No Pain, and I don't know what is mathematically better, but the Close Combat Focus Squad has a 3-up save and a 4-up Invulnerable save. I don't know which one is mathematically better, but I don't think either squad you're worried that much about how much damage they do. They can definitely mop the floor with like guardsmen, but anything can mop the floor with guardsmen. It would be really interesting though to see an army with like 6 squads. I guess you could take 12 squads because you could take half Exaction and then half the close combat one and have a ton of shockingly hard to kill toughness 3 bodies. It's gonna be really weird to see how this codex works. I wanna play it. I mean, the codex isn't out until next week, but I'm playing a game of 40k tonight, and I bet Sean is bringing his Rogaldorn battle tanks, and I would love to just flood the board with infantry that have a 4-up invulnerable save. 4-up invulnerable save is so wickedly good because it essentially means 50% of the time, your guys won't die. And sometimes that can spike really, really high. Sometimes it can just fail miserably because it's a coin flip. But having just like 10 bodies on an objective, and those bodies 50% of the time, no matter what's coming at them, are not dying is really, really good. Obviously, the Eversor Assassin comes in this box, and I don't know if the Eversor Assassin is good, but it is some of the most fun you will have in all of 10th edition. Every time you get to pick one of 3 different abilities for him to have, either advance and charge, that's the one you take. But actually, is it the one you take? Because one of the other options is sustained hits 3 on his pistol and close combat weapon, which is amazing. The last time I took him in a game, I rolled all of his attacks and he didn't get a single 6 and it hurt so bad, but he still almost wiped a guardsman squad. I think there was like 3 guys left. Of course, it wasn't a guardsman squad, it was a Krieg squad. And so immediately after that, Sean rolled his resurrection and he got 3 guys back and it felt bad, but the Eversor did his job. It was glorious. I don't even remember what the third thing is precision on his weapons, which actually could be really good. He throws a lot of attacks. So he could very conceivably like kill a sergeant, lieutenant, or apothecary, which could really benefit the rest of your army. The Inquisitorial Henchmen, they're not bad at all. The thing that makes them great is they're incredibly cheap. I think it's 50 or 55 points for 6 bodies with objective control 2 and 2 wounds apiece. Like, they are not at all bad, but they won't do anything. They don't punch really at all. They don't shoot at all. They're just warm bodies that you could put on an objective. Like, I guess if you're already bringing, assuming that they're battle line, if you're bringing 6 RBD squad, then you can bring 1 squad of Inquisitorial Henchmen just to sit on that home field objective. But I don't know, this army, I'm really interested. I've never heard. I know you could play Index Imperial Agents. I've never heard of anyone doing it, and I really want to see what it is. Assuming now with all of the changes and the addition of the Grey Knight Strike Squad, or not the Grey Knight Strike Squad, it's Grey Knight Terminator Squad and the Sisters of Battle Squad, it'll be interesting to see what an army actually looks like. But yeah, apparently it's just gonna be a lot of space cops. A lot of space cops. And I'm a little nervous. I was almost guessing that they were gonna nerf space cops into the ground just because they're arguably better than most armies' infantry, which is weird. Why are space cops like better than Necron warriors or Eldar guardians? Like, they're 5-up Feel No Pain or 4-up Invulnerable save. Those are usually rules reserved for the top tier elite units in the game. And here we got, space beat cops just walking around who are tanking shots from some of the most powerful things in the game. I don't know, it's really interesting. But also what's kind of hilarious is the Combat Patrol comes with more models than I think any of the 3 battle forces meant for Inquisitorial agents. But I don't know, it is an interesting box, and I'm not gonna be picking one up, but I do already have some space cops in my collection. Maybe it's finally time to dust them out and see what they do on the tabletop. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this Comet Patrol. Is it anything? I don't know. It's probably right around 500 points in game, but it is just a weird, eccentric collection of minis. So let me know what you think of it below. I might have to give it a try though. Thanks for watching.